Here we are. All right, we're getting started.
Yay.
So we're going to be doing our Star Wars stream. We finally have Thedan, also called the Third,
The mysterious third.
actually here present with us. So that's good. We're going to be trying to nail down some starships. I think that's a good idea. What was that horrible, ugly starfighter that you mentioned before? Thedan?
The ugly.
The uglies,
uglies.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Them headhunters are going to be looking really good. Oh, we can make one up.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, Stackpole did the work. We just have to come up with decent stats on them.
Yeah.
And to kick things off, I want to show you something glorious that I got today.
Is that flaming hot Mountain Dew?
You see the lime?
Disgusting.
Lime, pepper, chili pepper, lime, Mountain Dew.
Oh, that means it's healthy.
Okay.
I mean,
have you tried it yet?
Give me a few seconds.
We get a live reaction.
Nice. So many things.
Yes, I've tried it, and my opinion is,
you know, if we planned this really well, we could have all tried it at the same time.
Hey, next time. Next time,
future
baby.
Stream ideas.
The worst part is the Mountain Dew.
Really? Okay.
I can honestly say that. All right. So how about we go down here and introduce yourself briefly.
I can't tell who you're pointing at because on my screen I'm on top.
But we're streaming mine. So that would be Woodrum. Mr. Woodrum.
Oh. I got so much pressure. No, I'm
moving on.
My name is So Much Pressure. I'm
Thank
Joe.
you. Your name is So Much Pressure. Begin.
And it gets tattooed on my arm. I'm Joe. I go by Green Gun Guy on the internets. You can find me. You can find me under that username.
I think my tongue is orange now.
It is.
Nice.
All right.
That's how you know it works.
Works. All right. And now the Third.
My name is Daniel. I go by Danger the Llama when you might catch me somewhere on the internet, but probably not because I don't exist on the internet.
He's a recluse.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of those weird people with a real life.
So anyway, we've said it before, but we're getting ready to start this Star Wars RPG thing. And Joe, thank goodness I can use your first name. I would have lost it there.
I insist you call me by my username.
Joe,
by the full username.
Joe is thinking roughly playing a smuggler.
Mm-hmm.
And Thedan, also known as the Third, also known as Daniel, is going to play.
Sure, you go through all his names.
A starfighter pilot. And the great thing is, those are vague enough for us to work with.
Yes.
So, Joe, we looked over some of the ships earlier. Have you developed a special attachment to any of them?
I've pretty much narrowed it down to 3. All 3 can be piloted by one person, and they're relatively low cost used, so they seem to be
the used cost. Candidates. The used cost does reflect that specific ship, because those are named ships that are there.
Yeah, we were looking at the source book earlier, and one of the things I noticed is it's that bad, huh? So
Caffeinated.
some pages have like a picture of the ship's layout and everything, and it'll have a legend kind of showing what is where on the ship. One of the things we didn't do is if you zoom out further to the right of the legend is the base stats for the stock model of
Here's the
that ship.
interesting thing. I've never noticed those.
Yeah, there's that, and if you go all the way to the end, there's like these little
Ah,
cards
base
that
stats.
have all the base stats there.
Thank goodness. So, you're
Which
basing
era are we on? Did you say that?
what now? Huh? What?
Which era? We're in
Yeah.
the Imperial era.
So, yeah, we've said this before, but not today. The time that we're beginning is roughly around the time of Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
Okay. So that's under Rise of the Empire, not Era of the Rebellion.
Okay,
Is that correct?
sure. I mean, we're not going
Maybe
to.
not.
We will or will not use various things.
I'm just trying to find the right rule book. I haven't looked at this site yet.
Yeah, that's fine. The rule book that we're
Okay,
looking
sorry.
at is called Stock Ships.
Okay.
And that's it. And Joe, do you remember if there's anything other than freighters in here?
I don't know. I think it's pretty much all just freighters.
Yeah, I think it's all freighters. I
Yeah,
found some
yeah, it
other.
is. Well, there's the pleasure yacht.
Oh,
Mm,
they're privately owned vessels.
Mm.
Typically privately owned vessels. So you said you narrowed it down,
Right.
and you can put up
So
a
I
picture
got
of it.
three.
Find the picture of the page that you're looking at and share it.
Okay. Well, this might take a moment.
In the meantime, so
Huh.
Daniel, I've been thinking there's a few different kinds of backgrounds you could have where you would pick up starfighter pilot skills,
Okay.
and you may want to pick one of those, or you may want to pick one and then kind of use that to hone whatever you're thinking.
Okay. Well, I mean, and I'm open to suggestions, but I just thought maybe I really should go with an ugly that's really terrible, and then I try to get as high stats as I can. So, like, I'm a really poor, really good pilot.
First objective: steal somebody else's ship.
Right. Yeah. If I have opportunity. Yeah.
I am making liberal use of the mute button tonight. What with this flaming hot Mountain Dew.
That
Liberal
bad. Huh?
mute.
So my wife got them. She basically made money buying them. And she brought them home, and I kind of gave her a look, and she's like, I can clean the toilet with them. She's got 5 cases.
5
That's
cases?
a lot of toilet cleaning.
She's going to be cleaning the toilet with them, I think.
There's a distinct, noticeable probability there.
So one of the ships is called the Broken Spanner.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a
those are-
specific ship that's like owned by a specific person, and it'll have its own
Oh.
history and everything.
Okay. Never mind.
Now, there's no reason why we couldn't bring one of these specific ships into our sessions, because that's why they're there in the book is, hey, go buy that ship. Give that to your character. By the way, there's contraband still hidden in it.
Nice.
All right, Joe.
Okay.
Tell us.
So the first of three that seemed like likely candidates was the Carillion YT 2400, which is like made by the same manufacturer as the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, it's in the
This
same
is like
series.
yeah,
It's in the same series.
the YT series. So this is kind of what it looks like. Looks like it can be flown by a single person, which would probably be good because I only exist as a single person.
What?
And yeah, good cargo space, good good crew space. It's just a good all around one, and it's durable. It's apparently quite durable,
Yeah, true.
which is
Yeah.
very nice because I would like to not die.
What's the space score? That's 4, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, like we said earlier, it's a relatively slow sublight speed. It looks like the hyperdrive is ×2, which
Yep.
is relatively slow. It's not super slow, but it's twice as slow as a ×1. A lot of things have a ×1 as standard. 3,200 used is much more approachable than 130,000.
Yep. Very much so.
Congratulations. You're the 5th owner of a brand used YT 2400.
Brand new to you. But yeah, that is the first of the three. Let me find the next one real quick. Okay.
You don't want the
Believe it's
Grasshopper?
down
You don't want the baby
here
Carillion Corvette?
somewhere. I think that one requires too many people and it's way too expensive.
Really? Yeah. Doesn't it have a
I think.
smaller cargo capacity?
I'm not sure.
Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, go to the one that you actually want to look at, rather than
It's
jogging
too
my
late.
memory about something we're not talking about.
It's too late. We're here.
No.
No, crew is 2-1. Actually, it's
So
not
ugly.
that much more expensive.
That's actually read 1-2.
1-2. Oh yeah. But yeah. Anyway, stuff. This next one, the Kazelis Light Freighter. Another relatively inexpensive freighter at 23,000. This one is a little bit faster, but a little bit not quite as tough. It seems to be a little.
It's a lot more maneuverable. A lot more.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I wasn't really paying attention.
The 2400 has no maneuver. Remember?
So,
So
oh yeah. So this one can be maneuvered.
yeah. Yeah. This one gives you a bonus to your piloting skill.
Well, considering that I wasn't planning on taking starship shields. I was planning on taking maneuverability. That might bump this one to be a little bit more favorable, even though it has a lower cargo capacity
And a lower hull.
and a lower hull. Yeah. But anyway, that's kind of what the layout looks like. It's got these weird little like spiky wing things, which are,
Yeah. They're fine until you enter
fine.
atmosphere, and then you just
they
don't enter
create-
atmosphere. You
they
enter
create
slowly.
massive amounts of drag, and you just crash. You just crash gracefully.
I
Can't
just
believe you're
noticed it
still
has a
drinking
machine
it.
shop.
It's habit. I'm gonna start pre-muting myself when I drink it.
Oh, it does have a machine shop. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I want one.
I would love a starship with a machine shop.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Okay, and
Yeah,
the
if I could afford
third
one.
one. But yeah, I believe this one might be the cheapest. It's 23,000.
That would
Let's
not be
see.
surprising. I think it has the smallest cargo capacity.
Yeah, it had 100 and the previous one had 150, I believe. And I think it was this one. Yeah, it was candidate number 3.
Oh,
So it's got like this weird, like asymmetrical winged design.
It looks like it's
Let's
missing
see.
one,
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
but that's on
Let's
purpose.
see. Well, yeah, a little bit more expensive. Not quite as maneuverable, and it has the worst cargo capacity.
Did you say it was least expensive?
No, no, the previous one was the least expensive. This one is 26,000, as opposed to 23,000 for the previous one, and then it was like 20. What was it? 28 or was it 35? Something like that for the YT 2400. Something like that.
The used cost?
Yeah.
Wasn't it 32? I don't remember though.
It was something like that, somewhere in there. It was the most expensive of the 3.
So, and this is going to go for you too, Daniel. We can get you into a ship that doesn't even necessarily make sense for you to have. There's just going to be hooks to it.
Strings attached.
Yeah. So if one of those ships really calls to you and you're thinking that's if I were really smuggling, that's what I would want to be flying.
If I smuggled for real.
I'm not saying I'm a smuggler, but if I were,
Well, I'm leaning more in between this one and the second one. Really. It depends on what kind of smuggling I want to do, though. Actually, for all 3 of them, it depends on what kind of smuggling I want to do. Like if I want to do like bulk shipments, like the first one has the most cargo capacity.
What about hidden compartments? You gotta have hidden
Ooh.
compartments.
It probably has more room for hidden compartments as well.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but yeah, if I wanted to do like smaller, more valuable type cargo, kind of higher risk, higher reward, then the second or even the third would kind of, well, the third would probably be uh, the most that way, and the second one would be kind of in the middle.
What would a space trucker do?
What would a space trucker do? But since I'm a smuggler, it would be more like the kind of space trucker that goes on a long haul and then sells meth at the truck stop.
That's pretty
Oh,
terrifying right there.
so he's a piece of garbage. Which one looks like a piece of garbage?
Well, kind of all 3 of them.
that's the beauty. So you have officially given up on the smuggler scholar, right?
Yes. Yes. The smuggler scholar shall remain a bad joke. Did we tell Daniel about the smuggler scholar?
I doubt it.
No.
Okay.
It's what it sounds like.
I'm sure he'll come out sometime during the stream.
Oh dear. So you've narrowed it down to 2. The Starlight Freighter. And what
Right.
was the other one?
The Kazelis. Well, there was also the YT-2400 if I wanted something that was unable to maneuver.
I mean, the Starlight has ugly going for it big time.
Really, yeah, all three of them kind of do.
It just seems extra weird. Like, I kind of
Yeah,
like it, but
the asymmetrical design is pretty weird.
but it doesn't have a machine shop.
Doesn't have a machine shop though.
You said the Starlight and the what? Oh yeah. I lack intelligence.
I see.
For some reason, I keep ending up in the same pages. What's the oh, it's the kind of forward swept wing one.
Right.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. I mean, when you settle on it, probably not necessarily on stream, we'll negotiate what it's going to look like to be using it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll just end up revealing that on stream.
Okay. Sounds good to me. Just let me know when you need me to end my screen share, by the way.
Whatever you want. I can just stop watching it like I just did, and it's not focused there anymore.
Okay, then.
All right. So how about, since we're both here, let's talk to Daniel a bit. The rough idea that I have for your two characters to be together is that you said you wanted to do starfighter piloting. Is that still where you are?
I'm flexible, but I kind of am liking the idea of a really poor starfighter pilot who has a really awful, really bad ship.
It's the jalopy of starfighters.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So maybe I need some like mechanic skills to go along with it to like barely keep it running.
If it's going to be a real bad cobbled together job, that would make perfect sense. Otherwise, you're going to be constantly depending on finding people and paying them.
And I have to know how it works to make any good use of it at all.
And if you're playing that you're like this kind of poor starfighter enthusiast trying to make your own way as a hired gun type thing,
yeah,
then you're not going to have the resources for other people to work on it. You're probably going to have to be the one working on it.
Yeah,
that
so
makes
right
a lot
now
of sense. A lot of sense as a backstory.
That's kind of how I'm leaning right now. I had some other ideas, but I think it would need to be fleshed out a little more. So
we haven't even gone over the basics of the system with Daniel, have we?
We have not.
I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah.
Oh no.
I just want to do edges and flaws. Let's just skip to edges and flaws.
Well, that's going to be very, very quick. There are no edges and flaws.
I know. I can pretend.
Yeah. It is a completely different system from what we are used to.
And like I told Joe earlier today, I want to do less min-maxing, which this rule set really is not laid out for min-maxing. Less of that and more, oh, our characters are in this kind of situation. We got to deal with it. Or we have this kind of objective or whatever. A lot more of that.
More story, less numbers. Yeah. That's fair.
Yep.
Story is what makes it fun anyway.
Yeah. And character.
Mostly. Yeah.
In our Shadowrun stuff, it's all the characters. It's like, here's some stuff to kill. You freaks. So so get to it.
No one has ever described our Shadowrun sessions so accurately. Here's some stuff to kill, you freaks.
Sometimes the min-maxing makes the the story's funnier, but
It can.
that's
Yeah.
the only reason that I think it's worth doing at all. Is it just makes it more fun. Not
Well, I like fairly quickly. I got to where I was like,
ridiculous.
I'm gonna min max a character to be able to do weird stuff.
right. Yeah, exactly.
And I don't mean kill in a weird way. I mean, just
Yeah, weird stuff.
people aren't doing that because it's dumb.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna focus a little more on the story and kind of getting through the scenarios. And because the company that created this RPG system, they went out of business and released all of their stuff open license, we have access to all of it. So all the
Nice.
campaigns they made and everything, we've got access to all of it. So we've got a lot to work with.
Yep.
That's really good. So my idea right now is Joe's going to be the smuggler hauling the cargo, and you're going to be hired on as kind of security.
Okay.
Like
I really need the money, like
It's-
really bad.
yeah, it'll cover fuel at least, right? Yeah, it'll cover.
You know, back at the orphanage, they said I could never cobble together my own starship, but I showed them.
Oops, what's this button do?
And now Daniel just
That's-
doesn't want to play this
that's
character
me.
anymore.
You know what? No.
No,
ruined
I
it.
couldn't.
Ruined
I couldn't
it.
do
You know
that
what? That's
way.
it. I'm a Wookiee. I'm a Wookiee. I'm just going to yell at things and kill it.
All right. Well, if we ever do like a different series or whatever, we need Detective Jawa.
Oh, no.
Detective Jawa.
So I've been reading through a lot of the rule books. And that
he
thing
just
I
runs
said-
around and yells "Utini."
I've been reading through the rule books, and that thing I said earlier about Mon Calamari are not considered sapient. It's because if they're sapient, then exploiting their labor would be slavery, and we aren't slavers in the Empire. We only use non-sapient species for labor. You know, like Mon Calamari and Wookiees.
Okay, I was wondering if Wookiees were on that list too, because I figured they were.
So there's this section of space called the corporate sector. You know how mega corporations run everything in Shadowrun? Well, they run everything in the corporate sector.
Imagine that.
It's like a special economic zone where they can pretty much do whatever they want to the planets there. So that's a possibility. That's actually a prime possibility for you guys going into, because they have like ridiculous
Thursday night.
tariffs.
They
a
have
Thursday.
ridiculous Thursday nights.
Just like Seattle.
Just like
Just like
Seattle.
They have import tariffs on basically everything, and they charge ridiculous sums for basically everything inside of it. So you can end up smuggling legal goods into the corporate sector and making a lot of money.
Just from tax avoidance.
Yes.
Wow. That's
Yes.
Okay, we're going to be doing that, and our motto will be "Taxation is theft."
So what would it be, like a flag that says "Don't tread on me," and then a little airspeeders wrapping up an AT-AT?
that's pretty brilliant.
I need to make that T-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have merch now.
That's
We now have merch. We don't
That's
have
your-
any
that's your
actual
channel
role
logo
playing,
right
but we
there,
have
too.
merch.
buy our merch.
Actually, I wish I was wearing that shirt right now.
That would be pretty great.
It'll
Perfect.
be a shirt that looks just like this. You can buy it at this website. For
Go to my
$20.
Teespring. $20.
That's cheap. Way too cheap. Got to be like
What are,
60.
what are they paying the slaves that make them now?
Made with real Wookiee hair.
Guaranteed to last. I may have gotten a little lime on the microphone. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm thinking as far as the dynamic between your two characters at this point. And like I've said to Joe, being a smuggler involves a lot of different things, which includes meeting with really disreputable, dangerous people, not getting killed by them, but also negotiating with them.
So all the pressure is on him.
No, but just the role of being a smuggler is all of that, plus avoiding the authorities, avoiding other criminal elements. So there's a whole realm of things that he has to be able to do. So in terms of laying out his skills, there's a lot.
I got to be spread pretty thin.
Yeah, there's a lot. He can't just be like the galaxy's best pilot because he'll get shot. He'll get shot and robbed. So he's going to have to have other skills, like ground skills.
Yeah, like everything a smuggler does, he does like this wide variety of tasks, and on top of that, like he has to not get himself killed in any of those tasks because they're all dangerous.
He has to make sure not to get killed by the bad guys or the good guys.
Yeah.
And that's why there are so few long-running smugglers out there.
And so, to some extent, the same is going to apply to you. Like we already said, he's going to be a good starfighter pilot, but he kind of had to DIY it. So he's also going to have the mechanical skills.
Yeah, so I have to spread it a little more. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're being hired on as an escort, that's probably going to include on the ground too, because if the deal goes wrong, the finger will end up pointed back at you too. You're supposed to be the security.
I may just have really bad people skills.
That's fantastic. Go for it. That's fantastic.
I have to pick something I can play, so
I don't think I have my stack of cards here. Joe, do you have your skills and attributes that you had drawn up?
I've got my character sheet.
Yeah.
Right here.
Oh, here's my stack of cards. We're going to have to do a little bit of basics with Daniel just because we never got the chance to do it before.
Yeah. Okay.
He had a disease.
It's true.
He was ill. He was unclean. So there's 6 attributes.
For a little while.
Yes.
I got better.
I got better. There are 6 attributes, and they are not your typical RPG attributes. It's dexterity, knowledge, mechanical. It's in the rule books. You don't have to write it down.
How can you? No, I'm just kidding.
Perception, strength.
But I don't have to look it up this way.
And technical. I mean, it's anyway. And every skill that you have is attached to one of those attributes.
Okay.
And whatever dice you have in the attribute, like whatever level the attribute is at, adds to whatever you have in the skills associated with it. So like if you have a dexterity of 3 and a blaster of 3, you roll 6 whenever you use your blaster.
Okay.
If you don't have a skill, you just default to whatever attribute it's connected to with no penalty at all. So effectively, every character has every skill, but most of them are at level 0. If that
Okay.
makes sense.
Sure.
Raising skills is, it's hard to call it expensive or not. That's the main way you develop your character. Like that's the main
Okay.
way they get better is they raise their skill levels. Attributes
No
are
stat
really
increases.
hard to raise ever.
Okay.
They're hard to raise ever. The lower it is, the better. The lower it is, the easier it is to raise. But
Okay.
it's hard to raise them ever. It costs 10 times as much.
You have no strength. Good for you. That's what I was hearing. So
It costs 10 times as much to raise an attribute as a skill, and there's a
Okay.
chance you fail.
Oh,
And if you fail,
your workout produced nothing.
yeah. If you fail,
You've
you
got
lose
no
half of the
gains.
points you put into it. So
Okay.
raising
know.
attributes is not easy. So anyway, and we went through the skills with Joe and picked out some that we thought he would want to shortlist. But then you end up with, it's not a lot. I looked it up just a second ago. I think it's 7 dice to split among all of the 7 dice to spend on all of your skills.
So that's 7 dice, and you can split those. Can you split those into the like the +1?
Pips, yes.
Yeah, pips. That's what they're called.
You can,
Okay.
yeah, 1 dice is the same as 3 pips. So +1, +2, and then 1 dice. And that
Kinda
whole,
lost me on the pips, but
so if you have 3D +1, you roll 3 dice and you add 1.
okay. Yeah. Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
And when you raise a skill, like if your skill is at 3D +1 and you level it up, it goes to 3D +2. And then you level it up again and it goes to 4D. 1 dice is the same as 3 pips. So anyway, that kind of relationship between attributes and skills is at the core of how you develop. It's at the core of how you determine whether you're good at things in the game. Theoretically, there's a skill for everything, but the rule system is actually pretty generic. Like there's not extensive rules for how to climb and how fast you climb and so on. There's some rules for it, but you know, in general, we're not going to get too down in the weeds for that stuff because that. Hold on, give me 5 minutes. I'm going to figure out whether you climbed that wall.
Yeah. Like, are your climbing skills gonna make or break whether or not you succeed?
Yeah.
Maybe if you're doing something really dumb.
Yeah. Yeah.
But otherwise, move on.
But because some of the attributes are a little weird, like knowledge is an attribute. And so a skill attached to knowledge would be information you know for the most part.
Okay.
For the most part, that's how it is. And like body, you can have skills like melee combat. But you can also have skills like stamina.
Okay.
So pretty much anything that you would level up that's not an attribute has to be attached to the most similar attribute. So anyway, that's how that works. Starfighter piloting and some other stuff is attached to the same attribute, which kind of helps you be good at that field of things.
Okay. So is that dexterity or technical or
which one? I think it's
Starfighter.
mechanical that's piloting. There's starfighter piloting, and then there's like space transport piloting, and then there's capital ship piloting.
Oh man, what was I thinking?
You thought you were gonna.
I could have flown a really gigantic, ugly ship.
Hey,
I'm going to.
Next
My
time.
starfighter will be a space barge.
I was about to say he's cobbling stuff together. It's easier to get your hands on stuff like space transports. So maybe he's trying to like cobble together pieces for this space transport to make it starfighter like.
No, I'm building Voltron.
There we go. With
But you've
my
only
powers combined, I
You've only
am.
got one of the tigers so far.
You can kick people, but only if you get some momentum going before you transform.
Oh, here's what you do. So you start to go into hyperspace and you transform into a foot to do a mega kick.
And then you just completely blast the entire enemy navy. They all die.
Mm-hmm.
And you're
my
fine.
Goodness. That
And you're
reminds
fine.
me of like Buddha Hand from from the Shaolin movies, or what movie was that? The guy that did Shaolin Soccer.
Yeah.
What was that other?
Mhm.
Man, I cannot remember the name of the movie. With the Axe
I don't know.
Gang. You don't remember the Axe Gang?
Yeah, I remember the movie. I just don't
Kung Fu
remember
Hustle.
Yes, that was it. That was it. That was it.
There it
They
is.
did the big Buddha Hand, just like flying from
Yeah.
forever away.
Yes, I remember it now.
So, one other thing that I was doing was trying to dig up some planets that you guys' characters could be from. And one thing that I found is the Elrude sector. The Elrude sector is a kind of remote area where, like, there's a hyperlane route that goes through it in sort of like a winding fashion from planet to planet, but you can't really branch out very much because there's like stellar nebula and stuff around that you just can't travel through. And so it's kind of a series of backwater planets. Some of them are better off. Some of them are kind of run down and poor. A lot of the resources are played out. And a lot of people coming from those places are kind of desperate for cash or trying to escape, boy, this planet is garbage. I really don't want to live here. I see people coming through every once in a while with decent ships. I think I'll get out of here. So I could see someone like that from that kind of background wanting to be a smuggler or cobbling together a real starfighter and really, being good at flying it.
Being as good at flying it as I can be with all the time I had to spend building it. And
hey, if
and
you're not
running
good
around in
enough at flying
junkyards.
it, you'll be able to fix it.
Maybe I'm better at fixing it than I am flying it. We'll
Just
see.
make it really durable. So that way you'll always at least survive, and then you can fix it.
I can always start from, something that's left over after they shot me to pieces.
You'll just like cobble it back together after every time. You like using pieces of your craft and their craft. And
no, I need to know where they crashed.
And that's my MO because
yeah, like your
that's
ship
my
is
strategy
different.
for shooting them down every time. we shoot each other down and then I'd take their ship.
You're basically the Zerg of starfighters. You're constantly searching for superior strains of ships to assimilate.
Constantly evolving.
Yeah.
It's different every time you go into a fight. Like
Oh, that's too funny. I wonder if that's workable. That would be really funny.
Have like 4 or 5 different identification beacons on it so it can identify several different ships. They'll never find me now. That's true. That is true.
Yeah. Oh man.
So that was one of them. And then there were a couple of other planets. But I don't. We're almost at the point where we said we would stop. So I don't think we're going to go into planets very much at all. Hey Joe, how about you read off your character sheet to kind of give Daniel an idea of the skills, and we'll just make comments about them as we go, so he can get a feel for everything. I think that's probably the faster way to do that.
Okay, well, I pared down my skills to 21 different skills.
Yes, you'll be able to
So-
get +1 in each of them.
Yeah. I might have to pare it down even a little more. So in dexterity, I have blaster for shooting blasters. I have melee parry, which may go. Dodge, which is definitely not going to go.
Just pause for a second. So combat is a little odd in my opinion.
Nice pause.
There's basically, wow, that's very pausy.
Pause.
I actually did think we lost you for a second there. There's basically 6 groups of skills for combat. And that's like an offensive and defensive skill. There's ranged weapons of all sorts. And then you use dodge, the dodge skill, to resist those. There's melee skills of all sorts, including lightsabers. And then there's melee combat, and there's lightsabers, and there may be some other very specific skills, but that's most of it. Anyway, and then there's melee parry, which you use to resist it. And then there's brawling, which is just unarmed fighting. And there's brawling parry, which you use to resist that. It seems a little redundant to me. And for our purposes, we may consolidate the melee and brawling stuff.
So you would just have like dodge for ranged and just parry for melee.
Yeah. Did I say we were going to do that? Did I say no? I said about the repair stuff. We were going to consolidate.
Yeah.
I'm leaning like 75% in favor of consolidating the combat skills also.
Okay.
Just because you try to do anything else, your character points get so spread. It's just, you start with 7, which is not a ton. That's not a whole lot of character points. So anyway, but that's kind of how they play out. You don't use dodge to dodge anything melee. It just doesn't. You can't. It doesn't work that way. You didn't dodge that thing you dodged. You parried your body to the side.
It's technically different, okay?
But that's how those skills play out. That's what
You
their
judoed.
role is. Yeah.
You judoed away.
I
judoed
Aikido'd
myself.
I Aikido'd away.
I judoed myself out of the way of the incoming attack.
Okay, keep reading your sheet.
Okay, so we had dodge, and then still under dexterity, we had running, because running away is what cool guys who live do. And then pickpocket.
Yeah. So there's a skill for different kinds of movement, like climbing. I think jumping has one. Lifting is a skill, I think, connected to strength, which just lets you carry really heavy stuff. Like, I'm definitely not going to spend a lot of time rolling dice for those. Just definitely not. But if you want to do something really complicated on a regular basis, like I'm going to run across this the top of this security wall, and then jump down and karate chop the guy at the other end. Then yeah, we're gonna have to roll dice on that. Probably not a whole lot of points to go into running and such at the beginning. But maybe he's going to be the smuggler that bails every time.
Oh no, there's trouble. Just run. Just run.
There are other ships in the galaxy. The anti Han Solo.
So pressured. Oh man.
What was the other skill? You had running. What was the other? Oh, it was con. No, pickpocket.
Pickpocket.
Pickpocket is also used just for
I can
taking things without being noticed. So if you wanted to palm something off of a desk, that would be the skill. So that's what I mean when there are skills that are actually pretty broad. Like con and persuade. Those are actually very broad. Keep going.
Yeah. Okay, so next we have knowledge, the knowledge attribute. And under those we have the strangest one in the entire bunch, which is intimidation under knowledge. I don't know.
There's not a charisma, so.
Right. So I guess it goes in there. I might drop that one just because I'll need points other places.
Pay me more. I've got 5 guys here with blaster rifles. I'm not paying you more. We already made a deal.
Okay, so we had intimidation, and then I had law enforcement. Seems useful.
That's an actual knowledge skill. It's like I know how to deal with and exploit the law enforcement system.
Right. Like he would know how like their procedure for security checks on like incoming freighters or something like that.
How likely it would be that a bribe would be received in this situation.
Stuff like that.
Does that include like Imperial forces or just like local security?
Any
Or
security.
just anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any law
We're
enforcement.
back on broad
Very, very
stuff
broad.
again. Okay.
Yeah. Next one was Streetwise, which another broad one, another one that this character is probably going to need. And then I had
and Streetwise is dealing with criminal elements.
Yeah. Which is
it's pretty core to being a smuggler.
Which I am one.
Yeah, right.
And then the last one I had under knowledge was willpower, which is like resisting being intimidated and stuff, which I figure is probably going to happen every other day. Like nobody's ever tried to intimidate a smuggler before. Then moving on, we have the mechanical attribute. And under that, I have astrogation, sensors, space transports, so piloting space transports, and starship gunnery, which I think we had. Let's see, what was it? The repair, or was it the starship gunnery?
It was the repair. It was the repair. Yeah.
Okay.
So we said so there's a repair skill for just about everything. And normally it's you can repair this completed type of thing. Like you can repair a blaster. You can repair a land speeder. But for some reason when it gets to starships, it's like repair the starship, repair the weapons, repair the shield
systems, and
we're not going to do that.
They are more complicated, but
yes,
expediency.
But like some repair skills have to cross over, and again, like how many character points are you going to have to sink into a million different
Yeah.
a million different things. These
We
are
can
our
play this
first
campaign where
characters.
you fix ships for a living, and that's all we do.
Hey,
There's no fun. We just have a business where we fix
Yeah.
ships.
We're just two guys running a business trying
got-
to make it in this screwed up galaxy.
I've
That's
got
where all my
7
skill
points
points
to
went.
spend. I'm gonna put 4 into repair. Oh, oh no! I'll be good at failing.
Heard the Empire's got a whole mess of them TIE fighters they need fixing up.
Okay,
Okay.
keep on trucking.
Yeah, mechanical. Mechanical deals with
Using
interacting
mechanical
with
things.
machines.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like understanding or repairing them.
Okay.
So next I had perception, and under that I had bargain, con, hide, search, and sneak. So all kinds of persuady and sneaky hidey stuff.
Hide
is
and
in there.
sneak are a little confusing for anybody that has like a modern look at how those are used. Hide
I'm
means
confused.
hiding things,
Okay.
and sneak means yourself
Hiding.
not being noticed.
Right. Sneak is hiding yourself.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
And then
What if you're hiding something on your person? Just never mind.
that's
Keep going.
hide.
That would be hide. Yeah, it's a pretty broad skill.
Mm.
So persuade and con. Persuade is trying to get someone to do what you say when it's either neutral to beneficial for them, and con
bargain.
is the opposite.
Yeah, it's bargain.
It's persuade, right? Bargain is trying to strike a deal, like a financial deal.
Well, I don't have persuade on here. I've only got bargain and con.
So we'll look it up in the rule book later. But
Yeah.
that's the kind of duology you've got going on there. Con is it's either neutral to bad for them to go along with you, like you're cheating them, or you're just trying to get them to accept your forged documents as legitimate or whatever. Search is a really broad skill that I don't know, unless you're a bounty hunter, it probably doesn't fit into your main toolkit, but it's also really useful because search would be like, oh, I dropped my blaster. I need to find it. I'm using my search skill to find it. But it's also, there's a guy named Tan in this town. I want to find him. I'm using my search skill to dig up, anybody that knows where he is.
Like
Yeah,
my
it's
contact
like
went to
finding
ground
anything.
kind of have to.
I'm a new smuggler. I'm a new starfighter pilot in this spaceport, and I'm trying to find work. Who do I need to go to that would hand out those kinds of contracts?
It's technically a starfighter, okay?
It moves like a starfighter.
Here we go. We've got the starfighter scholar.
Oh, no.
You see, it's technically a starfighter. It has all of the components of a starfighter
My
from
goodness.
other starfighters. They were placed together in an assembly that is reminiscent of a starfighter.
I think my favorite ugly was the TIE fighter pod with Y-wing engines. Like has no shields, no maneuverability, and goes really slow. Probably the worst ever. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that happened somewhere. Once.
We found him
the scholar starfighter pilot wears a bowler hat, even though it doesn't match the Star Wars universe at all, and no bowler hat has ever looked good on anyone.
Is there a monocle with that?
Yeah, he would be the one. Like, I haven't gotten the easily accessible corrective surgery. I wear a monocle.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
No,
So I
He
think.
would wear a non-corrective monocle.
So am I coming through choppy to you guys?
No.
No.
Okay, you guys are both coming through a little choppy to me. So I don't know.
I'm sorry.
We're about where we were going to quit. Actually, we're after that. Thedan, also called the Third, also called Daniel.
It's gonna take up a lot of time if
gonna
we
go to
keep doing
sleep.
that.
It's worth it.
Half the episode
The
is
payoff
just
is
repeating Daniel's names.
yes.
And then I never live up to expectations.
Well, yeah, you are the third. There were 2, and then there was 3.
Mm.
Seems
So
like an
I'm going to
amateur
put
record.
together some stuff for you guys to look at a little more closely. So you don't have to spend a ton of time at it because I already have. And you can give some opinions on it. Maybe next time we'll actually be able to nail down attribute scores more specifically. And at that point, we'll be pretty close to having the character sheets. Character sheets are not too detailed in this game, which is nice.
Yeah, they really aren't.
It's not like in Shadowrun where it takes, if you're not familiar with the system, a week or 2 to put together.
Yeah, you spend a few days just studying all the rules before you even think about what you're going to start picking. Yeah.
I could have done this. Oh, that fit my vision so much better. Why didn't I? So anyway,
I only really cared about edges and flaws. I just go fast, do the rest, and then spend all my time there.
I'll tell you what, you can have as many
I want
flaws
to
as you
have a
want.
phobia. I need phobia.
One of my characters has a phobia.
Mm-hmm. Oh, does he?
And it's not the bears. It was the other part.
Oh
Mm.
man.
All right. So we're going to cut the stream here. You didn't have fun. Don't pretend like you had fun watching. We're just getting started at this, but we're going to have fun when we finally get some character sheets together and start acting even more ridiculous. So, you
It's
guys,
only starting.
adios. I'll let these guys say whatever they want to say.
I don't know who you're pointing to, so I'm just going to go. Hi. Have a good night. That's all I have to say.
He's
All right.
waving. He's waving. Goodbye.